Hello and welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noah, and in this video, I would like to talk about my personal biggest turnoffs with AI generated content. There are many turnoffs that we have in the world today, right? Smoking or the smell of smoke, dirty feet, people that don't take off their shoes when they come in your house and then walk on the carpet with dirty ass shoes. People that do not put their shopping cart back after using it and leave it in the middle of the fucking parking lot. People that only use one piece of toilet paper when wiping their ass. So basically, there are a lot of turnoffs, right? That's just 5 of them. I could probably keep going for hours, but we have a lot of turnoffs, as humans in 2025, which is okay. And one of the things that I wanted to at least share a few of my thoughts on, like I said, are my turnoffs with AI. And the reason I wanted to do so is, one, because it's such a big topic, and two, because I want you guys, the viewers here, to think about this as the next time you start consuming media, which is likely going to be probably, technically you're consuming it right now, but I do not use AI content unless it's on my thumbnail, generally. But we're consuming content pretty much all day, every single day, right? And it's just the way it is. And I want you guys to think about this the next time, you're mindlessly scrolling on your phone, or you're watching some shit show on Netflix or something like that. Prior to the introduction, or the large scale introduction of AI, and AI has been, it's kind of an umbrella term, and it's been used in kind of simpler forms, for years at this point, I think. But the whole content creation part is relatively new. And one of the things that I think back to prior to all of this AI stuff, right? So we would have to go back to like 2017, 18, something like that. Or maybe even a little bit before 2015. Every time I would watch an animation, for example, right? Some of the earlier Disney stuff. Sometimes I would like to go back and, watch like the early stuff, like the Cinderella, Snow White. Those are great shows. Or something by, Studio Ghibli, for example, which go even farther back, but are outstanding. Not only in their messaging, but in the way that they look as well. Every time I would watch one of those shows, it always kind of sat with me in the back of my mind that to get that image on the screen, and I'll point here, and it's because I'm in my living room, so my TV is there, but every time that that picture, that piece of media made it onto the screen, there was so much work from people, right? Animators, artists, voice actors, all of these different people that had to do hours and hours, sometimes weeks and years of work in order to get it to its final form. And I always thought about this, after I would get done watching a show, I would say, wow, it was a great show or a great movie. And I would always think, wow, someone did that, someone sat down and drew all of those frames, or they thought of that story, they thought of the dialogue, and it made the media more important to me, right? It stuck with me longer because I knew that there was someone behind the scenes that made that happen. And the biggest thing that we have right now with AI, and this is like tech in general, is we want things faster, we want things cleaner, we want things to look sharper, but we want it now, right? We want it now. And this this instant gratification kind of mentality is already kind of doing some, making its waves in the online space, right? Huge amounts of content online are already AI generated. A lot of videos on YouTube are AI generated on your other feeds, Instagram or TikTok or whatever. AI has a part in that. And as I'm watching some of these, right, as I'm kind of looking at them, not only do they not look up to par yet, I think there will be a time when they will just look really, really good, right? They're going to look just as good as what you're seeing right now on my camera here. But the biggest difference here is that, one type of media, the AI type of media, was created by someone just telling some code to do it, right? It was done on with just some text versus the, in my opinion, the far superior type of content. There were calories being burnt, right? There was effort, there was maybe stress, there was work that was being done by humans in order to make that content. So to a certain extent, it almost doesn't become about what image or what animation is more that has sharper fidelity, right? What one is 4K and what one is 2K or whatever it is. And it becomes more about the work that was done to get this end product, kind of like the first example that I gave of after I would watch shows, I would always kind of think back to the people that were making them happen rather than, oh, I wish the quality was higher, something like that. And this to me is my biggest turnoff with this, right? I went over some of my other ones, the smoke, the shopping cart, right? The toilet paper. But this is my biggest turnoff with artificial intelligence media is that when I watch it, it doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel good, or it doesn't have significance because I know that the amount of work that went into creating it was a prompt of some dude in a room in front of his computer, right? Which work can be done that way too, but you guys kind of get the point. I can kind of compare this to the gym or in athletics, for example, as a simple analogy where it almost becomes like if you would see someone in the gym who's not they're not going to be stepping on stage as a bodybuilder, they're not going to be going to the Olympics or playing at the US Open or the World Series or whatever, right? They're a normal person physically. But if they're in the gym, 5 days a week, putting in a good hour and a half every single time, that almost means more than the end result, right? Of what they look like. That work that they're putting in is more significant. It matters more than if they've got abs, which are not everything. Abs don't matter. And I'm saying this because I don't have them, but that's a different story. But I think these two things are actually similar. I think as humans, we value the work that goes into something rather than the output. And that's where a lot of sayings like, it's not if you came in first or second or whatever, it's about what you did for yourself along the way. And I think this is going to remain, pardon me, consistent for a really long time, as long as people still value the actual work that humans do rather than what something looks like or how quick it was to produce. I think human created content is going to be far superior. And I'm sure there will come a day, in the future here where it's going to get very, very, difficult to maybe choose between the two, because we're going to have these AI tools that just get better, right? They're going to get better at certain things, but there's always something about knowing that someone is working hard for something that just means so much more. But there you go. That is my biggest turnoff when it comes to AI generated content, is that it just doesn't mean as much because I know how it was created. And this is kind of I think it's a really interesting concept, and I hope I'm not alone in kind of feeling this way. But if you do have any other thoughts, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to read them. And of course, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a dislike. If you actually dislike the video, you can go ahead and give it a dislike as well. If you've stuck along this far in the video, thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next one.